Hey guys, North Purple here, and pretty much seeing the success of my first Battlefield video, let's do this shit again because I'm a money whore. Yeah, so let's get right into this. So pretty much, now that we've had a long experience with Battlefield 1, let's re-look at it and see how flawed of an experience it is compared to its original launch. So for the most part, Battlefield 1 has not gotten any DLC in recent times, and pretty much no content has been added in. And I have a kind of bit of a theory for that. I'd say why not just look at my theory before going into this. So pretty much the theory is that pretty much Battlefield 1, there's not going to be another Battlefield coming out for another like 2 years pretty much. And DICE wants to just put like a little bit of like a safe proof just in case the Star Wars Battlefront game flops and people go back to Battlefield 1. That's most likely going to happen. I love the Battlefront games. Battlefront 1 is a childhood classic and it's very nostalgic. And Battlefront 2 is amazing. It's a great game. I have it on the PC on Steam and is a damn great time. So pretty much, but the new ones, they're pretty shit. And they're pretty much just recycled Battlefield games. So what's probably going to happen is DICE is going to release it, and they're probably not going to pay that much attention to it because most likely by a month everyone's going to be bored with it, or maybe they'll learn from their mistakes and they'll actually make a quality game this time. But probably not, because pretty much DICE with Battlefront, like, I have a feeling it's just going to be the same game over again. And I like to think optimistic, and I love to think that they bring things like Galactic Conquest and those great game modes back, even on like a large multiplayer scale. Like, just look at what they have out with Operations. Operations is sort of like a multiplayer campaign when you think about it a little bit. And I'd love to see something like Galactic Conquest brought to a multiplayer scale with 64v64 or something like that. Something immensely crazy in that type of platform. So now that we're off of that theory, let's get into what Battlefield 1, how it's been doing. So Battlefield 1, if you look at every console, it's going down player count, and this is a plus and a minus. So pretty much for player counts, all those annoying ass 9-year-old snipers are starting to leave the game. This is pretty great because that means less pieces of shit not going after shitty like long kills with a sniper, and like people that actually want to play the objectives. So that's much better. But the thing is, you're also losing a lot of hardcore Battlefield players because they're going back to Battlefield 4, that in my opinion is the superior game. Battlefield 4, though it did have a shaky release, it is now the superior game in many aspects. It has better guns, it has better maps in my opinion, barely any snipers, that's always a good plus, and the vehicles in general are just much more fun to use, even though I'd say that Battlefield 4 lacks in comparison with Battlefield 3, because I feel like all the vehicles are, I don't know, they just don't feel as powerful as they should be, and that kind of reflects in Battlefield 1, because Battlefield 1, whenever I feel like getting into a vehicle, it's just the most boring experience, because most of the time you're going to be one of those mounted machine gun motherfuckers that do nothing, and that's just a bad time, it's just not fun. Like, if I wanted to just sit down and shoot at people, I'd play a on-the-rail shooting game like House of Dead or something like that. For Battlefield, I want to be interactive. And with Battlefield 4, like with the helicopters and all that, you did have mounted machine guns and all that shit, but they were fun to use and you could actually move around. Isn't that a new game aspect? Yeah, so pretty much the vehicles in Battlefield 1 kind of suck. They're all pretty much very boring to use, and I just much rather run around. And the horses, they're cool for a gimmick, but in general, they're so useless. Like, maybe they're good at one time, but it feels like whenever I get on a horse, it's just suicide. You just become a bigger target, and you're just going to get fucked up by some, like, artillery vehicle or something like that. Or maybe there's some strategy to using a horse that I haven't figured out yet. I don't know, I'm not the best Battlefield player. But, yeah. So sniping, I feel, has gotten a lot better because, again, the 9-year-olds have left the game, and now like hardcore players are like the only people playing. Even though there still are like the few exceptions, a lot of them have lost interest because their rich divorced parents have bought them a new game, and that's kind of a great aspect. But the thing is, also a lot of hardcore players are just fed up. Like, I know at the launch of Battlefield 1, when the hardcore like assault people and the people who are used to playing games like Battlefield 4 experienced all the sniping and just all the shit that was happening, all the bombing runs and all that bullshit, they were just jumped right off. But now, like, everyone's starting to leave. And I feel in a long ass and pretty short time, Battlefield 1 is going to have, like, no players. It's going to become, like, go on a Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like that. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on Team Deathmatch, you have, like, 300 players. Battlefield 1, because, yeah, they're going to release DLC, but I have a feeling, like, I don't see many reasons to come back for the DLC, because what is there really to add to Battlefield 1? Like, yeah, you could add the French, but I'd love to see a snow map. I'd come back for that. But anything else, like, what else is there to do with Battlefield 1, I feel? World War 1 isn't really the greatest setting for a Battlefield game. I feel like a game that, like, it's difficult to explain, but Battlefield isn't the right series for World War 1. Battlefield relies much on, like, open landscapes, very close quarters combats, where World War 1 was all trench warfare. World War 1 is not the type of setting for a war that you want to use in a video game. The reason why World War II is used so often, because the fighting, like the fighting standards and all that, and the setting for the fights and all that, they were very gaming-esque. The battles in the Pacific were fought in jungle areas, and the battles in Europe were fought pretty much in, like, clustered city scenes. That's great for a game. But in Battlefield 1, a lot of it was fought in fields and all this, and guess what that makes the game feel like? It makes it feel like an open mess that was very poorly designed. And a lot of the maps, they do feel poorly designed. Like, out of all the operations, I say only one I like is, like, Rising Hell, and yeah, I know I'm kind of being a hypocrite because that's, like, the most open map out there, but there are, like, Battlefield maps I feel are great when it's open, but there's points of conflict. There are certain points of conflict. In Rising Hell, pretty much, it has many points of contact, my favorite being the B trench area, you know, with the cannon and all that shit. That seems my favorite because a lot of the commotion of the game happens at that single area. But the problem is, not all maps have this single area, and many times the point of conflict kind of sucks. And also, these maps are too open, because in Battlefield 4, I think the maps where, like, it was like an urban city area, those are great for Battlefield, because a plethora of game modes actually work throughout. Like, for Battlefield 4, for instance, like, in those cluster maps, you have the close-quartered city streets and the city buildings that pretty much work as your assault-centric, like, the kind of flanking and rushing that we're used to in the Battlefield series. But then you also have these open streets that are great for vehicles, sniping, and this plethora of different game tactics. And that's what works in Battlefield. Because Battlefield's not like Call of Duty, where there's pretty much only one way to succeed, or Counter-Strike, where there's only one way to succeed. Battlefield, there are a plethora of ways to play the game. And that's what makes Battlefield special. In these open maps, guess what? You're just better off being either a sniper or some motherfucker with an LMG. And actually, no, the LMGs suck in that game. They're so inaccurate, and it's just awful. And yeah, so Battlefield 1 hasn't really gotten that much better. Sad to say, but it just hasn't. And in general, Battlefield 1, I'd say it's probably one of the worst games in the Battlefield series. I know that's a pretty big statement, but in general, it's just a boring-ass game. And I want a game in World War 1 to be good, but a game in World War 1 just wouldn't work. I think Battlefield is best if they made another World War 2 game or a Vietnam War game. I think that'd be a great idea for Vietnam. Like, you'd have trees on fire and shit, napalm soaring through the land, and, like, you have landmines and shit, and, like, caverns. You could, like, fucking throw a grenade, and you just have, like, this whole cave structure just collapse on itself, and it would just be good shit. Yeah, so pretty much Battlefield 1 hasn't really changed in quality, but there have been a couple of new game modes in the custom community that I actually do like. The Back to Basics game mode I really damn like. I think it's a great idea, and it actually kind of embodies what World War 1 was. Because, yeah, you didn't have any motherfuckers with submachine guns or any of that. You have like 5 people on the battlefield with that. Most people would have their shitty Car 98s, and they'd just be shooting at random ass trenches. And with the Back to Basics game mode, you do have some of that, but in general, you just have the guns. It's like, say if you have a World War II game, that's pretty much set in Afghanistan, but you're using MP40s. Yeah, it's not really a World War II game. And that's just how Battlefield 1 kind of feels. It's Battlefield 4, but a shitty remake, pretty much, just set in World War 1. And I think Battlefield 1 could have been a great game. It really could have been. The sound in the game is amazing. The campaign, at first it's good, but after a while it's just shit. And in general, I think it's a big miss opportunity on a great idea for a game. I really do think that Battlefield 1 could have been a great game, but they should have really put more attention to it. So I'm North Pole Alone, and thank you for listening to my bullshit. Yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, and all that shit. I really appreciate it. I know I might sound like a piece of shit, but in general, I kind of appreciate it. So why not? So North Pole Alone here, I'm pretty much stay enlightened. Why not? Peace out.